Can you even begin to wrap your head around what's just happened? The whispers that had been swirling for months, building like a pressure cooker in the press, on social media, and in every speculative corner of the internet, have finally exploded into stark, unavoidable reality. King Charles himself has put pen to paper, personally signed off, and officially sanctioned the move. Yes, Harry's own father, the man who once defended him fiercely against the world, has now formally approved the decision to erase every last one of his son's royal honors. Gone is the Duke of Sussex title, that golden ticket that once opened every door, no matter the city or the continent. Gone is the His Royal Highness style, a centuries-old emblem that carried tradition, respect, and ceremonial weight. Gone, too, is the borrowed gleam of the crown that had subtly rubbed off on him for so many years, adding an aura that no mere mortal could claim. Overnight, the Queen's once favored grandson has been reduced to simply Harry, a name stripped of ceremonial glory, a name now echoing in empty halls where applause once followed. And just when it seemed the embarrassment had reached its peak, the blow grew heavier, darker, almost cinematic in its intensity. Parliament didn't merely strip away the titles, it followed up with a thunderous, jaw-dropping financial strike, a staggering tax demand of nearly $800,000 in unpaid liabilities, issued with a merciless 72-hour deadline. Imagine the countdown ticking relentlessly, cameras flashing with every second, headlines updating faster than anyone could read them, and Harry scrambling desperately behind closed doors to assemble the cash, while the entire world bore witness. This is not idle gossip anymore. This is high-stakes, real-time public spectacle, a drama unfolding faster than any script could capture. For years, Harry had trumpeted his freedom loudly, insisting he needed neither the monarchy, nor the palace, nor the crown to define him. He signed lucrative deals with Netflix, Spotify, and global publishers, filled auditoriums, dominated late-night talk shows, and leveraged his royal identity into a powerhouse revenue stream. Yet, without those prestigious titles to prop it up, the contracts, the glamorous premieres, and the bestseller lists now wobble like a fragile house of cards teetering on the edge of collapse. Hollywood decision-makers, corporate sponsors, and media executives were never just buying Harry the man. They were investing in Prince Harry, Duke of Sussex, that shimmering fairy tale name stamped across every project, every campaign, every marketing pitch. Strip away that branding, and suddenly he's just another public figure, struggling to sell a story that once sold itself. Microphones go silent, publishers hesitate, red carpets are rolled up early, and the spotlight that once followed him with unwavering devotion starts to flicker, waver, and slowly fade. Meanwhile, in the background, the British public watches and reacts, and their reactions, amplified across newspapers, social media, and nightly broadcasts, speak volumes about a monarchy in crisis and a prince in precarious solitude.
Britain appears to have run out of patience and sympathy for Harry entirely. Fresh nationwide polling shows a decisive majority of the public supporting the move to strip him of his royal status, exasperated after years of watching him cash in on the privilege of his birth while simultaneously criticizing and undermining the very institution that conferred it on him. For many, the move feels like long overdue relief, a thorough scrubbing of the monarchy's image and a dramatic severing of ties with a man who abandoned duty but clung tightly to the profits of his heritage. And this reprimand didn't come in whispers behind closed doors. In Westminster, MPs delivered blistering, on-the-record speeches, accusing him of weaponizing his royal name for commercial gain, of building an entire business model on Netflix contracts, lucrative book deals, and high-priced speaking engagements, while giving nothing tangible back to the public who once admired him. That level of condemnation cuts far deeper than any tabloid headline because it's not gossip, but Britain's elected representatives effectively announcing that he is finished. The irony is impossible to miss. The same man who once rushed to television cameras, who hurried to publish a memoir airing his grievances, is now locked in complete silence. That muteness, more eloquent than any interview, suggests he knows the walls are closing in. Even Archwell, his supposedly safe charitable haven, is no longer off limits. Years of whispered doubts about its finances are swelling into loud alarms. Auditors are circling, insiders are dropping hints, and suddenly every donation, transfer, and partnership sits under a forensic microscope. Without the protective halo of royalty to deflect questions, Harry can no longer wave away scrutiny or rely on the benefit of the doubt. And if anything shady does surface, and the rumors are getting louder, it won't just register as another headline-grabbing misstep. It could detonate into a full-scale catastrophe, capable of erasing what remains of his reputation.
As Harry's world unravels, Meghan is nowhere to be seen. Not in the stand by your man sense, but in a deliberate, almost icy silence. Those who watch Hollywood and the UK alike whisper the same thing. She's stepping back, shielding her brand, and leaving Harry to weather the storm alone. It's harsh, but revealing. And the implosion isn't slow, it's a full-speed crash. Being stripped of royal titles while staring at a mammoth tax demand with a 72-hour deadline is like a script for a tragic drama. Only this one's real. On paper, Harry's freedom always looked dazzling. Multi-million-dollar streaming deals, ovations at speaking gigs, glossy book launches. He styled himself as the rebel prince, carving his own future. But the truth is, the glow he sold was borrowed. Remove the titles and the shine evaporates. Without Prince Harry, Duke of Sussex, he's simply Harry. And in Hollywood, simply Harry doesn't sell. Would a publisher shell out millions for a memoir by just another celebrity husband in Montecito? Would Netflix bankroll massive projects without the royal mystique attached? Of course not. The monarchy was his currency, and that currency has been burned up. Britons aren't fooled. They're tired of him criticizing the crown while profiting from its aura, and polls show they feel a collective relief, a sense of justice and accountability at last. To many, it's Britain reclaiming its dignity, signaling that royal titles aren't trinkets to be flipped like Hollywood props. And looming over it all is King Charles's own signature on Parliament's decision. Not mere administration, but a deeply symbolic act. It's a stark, uncompromising declaration that the crown holds precedence over blood ties. Even the son of the reigning monarch and grandson of the late queen is not exempt from this reality. The sting for Harry must be overwhelming. His own father prioritizing the survival and dignity of the monarchy above the pride and personal ambitions of his child. A development so dramatic it could belong in a Shakespearean tragedy, yet it is happening in the cold, public glare of real life. And the fall isn't measured or gradual, it strikes with brutal immediacy. In the very moment he is stripped of his royal titles, he also faces a massive tax obligation, required to be settled within a mere 72 hours, leaving him exposed to a public embarrassment under an unforgiving spotlight. A humiliation that feels like a tragedy unfolding scene by scene before the world's eyes. On paper, Harry's attempts at independence once shimmered with allure. Lucrative streaming contracts, standing ovations at speaking events, highly promoted book launches, appearances that cast him as a rebellious royal bravely charting his own course. Yet the truth behind this image is that much of his success was borrowed prestige. Once the official titles are removed, the sheen of glamour and authority dissolves almost immediately. Without the designation Prince Harry, Duke of Sussex, he is simply Harry. And in the cutthroat realm of Hollywood and celebrity culture, simply Harry is rarely enough to command attention or generate revenue. No publishing house would invest millions in a memoir by a celebrity spouse living in Montecito, and no streaming platform would bankroll projects lacking the magnetic pull of royal association. The monarchy had effectively been his currency, and now that currency has crumbled to ash.
British citizens, meanwhile, are not fooled or swayed by sentiment. They recognize the consequence rather than cruelty. Polls reveal a collective sigh of relief, a sense that justice and accountability are being upheld, a reassurance that the nation's dignity is being reclaimed, and a clear signal that royal titles are not mere props to be traded or paraded for personal gain in a celebrity-driven narrative. And at the very heart of this, underpinning every consequence, stands King Charles's signature on Parliament's formal decree. Not ordinary bureaucratic paperwork, but a potent, highly visible assertion of the monarchy's primacy over even the most intimate family ties. A reminder that the crown, not lineage or sentiment, ultimately commands authority.